Good evening, and in Korean, 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다. How many of you could recognize this Korean? Saying, oh yeah, I see some people smiling. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Jaewoo Joo, as Wesley introduced, and I'm currently working at a university in South Korea, located in Seoul. So today, I want to introduce to you something that I have observed, and something that I have experienced, and something that I was really surprised in about 10 hours distance from here, which is in Seoul. So the topic is, as you can see in the front, is about the pop-up stores. And probably many or some of you have ever seen before in different cities and different areas. But I assume that none of you have ever experienced and seen and even entered pop-up stores in Seoul, South Korea. So I'm going to share with you that I enjoyed really mostly. So, okay, let's go. And just in case, if you want to know more about me, you can scan this QR code and you can find me on the LinkedIn, so you can just connect me and then I will accept it and we can become the friends. Right after 1 hour, okay? Steve Boyer sent me an invite. Yeah, it's very instant, yeah, thank you. So before I introduce everything that I prepared, by the way, the number of slides that I prepare are 44 slides, but I'm going to go through them very quickly. But good news for you is that I have a lot of videos. A lot of sounds, a lot of exciting things. So don't pay attention to me, look at the screen. That's the point. But before we go to the main parts, this is me. I'm working at the university as a marketing professor, but at the same moment, I also teach marketing and design for graduate level design students at the same university. So I meet two different group of people who actually have a very different thoughts. Every time I meet designers or design students in the university, I have a very different thoughts when I teach marketing students. So today's talk is designed for designers, so I hope you enjoy. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. And before going to the next slide, I want to ask you just one question. And if you say yes, please raise your hand and share your story to me a bit. Anybody who has ever been to any pop-up store, could you please raise your hand? Oh, thank you. There are so many. I'm supposed to see fewer. But have you, anybody who has ever been to the pop-up store outside of the United States? Okay. Could you tell me a bit more about which pop-up store?
I studied abroad in Seoul last semester, and in Seongsu there's always pop-up stores there.
Okay.
And I love like fashion and stuff like that, so those are always like intriguing. And I have an interest in like pursuing like experiential design and designing pop-up stores, so I found that really exciting when I was studying abroad there.
I think you know more than I do. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else who has ever been to the pop-up stores, not in South Korea, but in other countries? Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, I was able to go to Japan and over the past summer, and it was really neat to see those sorts of things.
So what kind of items were the products that you saw in the pop-up store?
A lot of it was like fashion or toys and things. I'm thinking. I mostly went for camera stores, and there were a couple things related to photography.
Okay, photography things. Can you tell me, is there anybody who has never seen any pop-up store? Okay, it's completely new to two of you. Okay, so these two people are exactly me about 5 years ago. Before the pandemic, because I work in a university, I didn't know anything about the pop-up store. And during the pandemic, something happened, and in particular, in a specific area of Seoul, became the mecca of the pop-up stores. And then I was interested in this pop-up store, so I studied a little bit about what's the definition and why some people run this pop-up store. So next 2 slides, I show you a very boring information about the pop-up store, which researchers usually do, like me. But we should start with the definition and objectives. Okay? Definition of pop-up store is this. Very simple. Pop-up store is supposed to be temporary. That's a definition. Although I kind of sanitize a bit more different things, but basic idea about the pop-up store is ephemerality. So the products that you saw, or the fashion goods or camera, anything that you see in the store is supposed to disappear at a certain point of time later, which means that when you see it as a visitor, you are more likely to touch it, you are more likely to experience it, you are more likely to buy it. That's the basic idea about the pop-up store. So this temporary retail environment is a very important component to define the pop-up store, which is different from typical stores. And there are 3 reasons why brand managers or pop-up store planners run this pop-up store. Another boring slide is this. Pop-up stores are created to first create the buzz, and then second, increase the engagement with the customers, and third, increase the sales. And the very first, pop-up store is basically designed to create a buzz, particularly when the product or service is new. It's newly introduced in the market. So as you can see in the very first word, creating buzz is the very first important objective of running the pop-up store. And the second objective is to help the customers or visitor to get engaged to a product, because the store itself gives the visitors a chance to experience the product or services inside the store. So second important objective is engagement. And the third one, hopefully, is to increase the sales of the product, which is not necessarily required, but it often leads to the sales naturally. These 3 objectives of running the pop-up store are not necessarily required, but it's optional. So some pop-up stores focus only the first one, and some pop-up stores focus only 2 and 3rds. So different pop-up stores have different objectives. So you will see different types of pop-up stores have different objectives, but they almost always have one based on one definition that is temporary. Okay? And now, this is the beginning of the whole talk. So I'm going to go through many different examples and cases about the pop-up store to show you how the Korean pop-up stores differ from the pop-up stores that you see in different cities or different countries. So let's begin with New York. When we study something, for example, pop-up store, we always try to compare between the failure case and success case. And every time we try to find any failure case, it's very, very difficult for us, challenging to find one. But very fortunately, you find one failure case of a pop-up store that was done by Kellogg in 2016. Have you ever heard about this event or campaign or marketing things? Anybody who has ever heard about the cereal cafe? No? Then let's watch it.
It's New York City's latest trendy restaurant in the heart of Times Square. And if you really want something special, special K that is, this is the place to go.
I had the Crispix corn pops. Fruit Loops. I love cereal.
Yes, cereal. And the company running this cafe, who else but Kellogg's?
Kellogg's Sugar Frosted Flakes.
Teaming up this time not with Tony the Tiger, but superstar dessert chef Christina Tosi, a judge on the MasterChef TV series.
Crust is raw.
Okay. You're a crazy cereal fanatic, is what
Yeah.
you call yourself?
Yeah. I have like this insane love affair with cereal.
At her New York bakery called Milk Bar, Tosi even mixes cornflakes into her chocolate chip cookies and ice cream.
For me, it's about taking like the everyday ordinary and twisting it just a little bit.
Her job at the Kellogg's Cafe, to add a twist to those bowls of cereal, like here with her Berry Olay.
Super simple, 4 ingredients, frosted mini wheats, raspberries, instant coffee, milk.
Yep, it lets you skip the coffee drinking by adding coffee right in with the cereal.
I'm not sure I'd do it every day, but I might try it.
Piques your interest.
Yeah.
Then there's what sounds like the bizarre combination of Fruit Loops, ice cream, marshmallows, passion fruit jam, and lime zest, called Life in Color.
I did not expect that.
You gotta think about Fruit Loops differently. It's good.
Good enough to sell for $6.50 to $7.50 a bowl.
What do you say to the person who says, cereal, I don't have to go to
This is the end of the. Well, it's actually I just cut it half. But did you hear the price of the bowl? Yeah. There's an article about this store. The title is "Struggle is Cereal: How Kellogg's Killed the Hipster Breakfast Trend," and the article starts with this sentences. Monday was a big day for America. Not only did the country celebrate its 240th year of independence, but Kellogg's launched an all-day cereal cafe in New York. It's called Kellogg's New York. It's based in Times Square, and a bowl of cereal will set you back $7.50. $7.50. Yep, that's right, $7.50 for cereal. So the price is really high. Okay? So it's incredibly expensive for a bowl of the cereal. So even from my side, even not right now, this is too expensive for us to try something. So I don't understand why they charge this price for a bowl of the cereal like this, but they might think this is a good strategy to for some reasons, which I couldn't even imagine why. So because of the super expensive price, almost everyone who is studying about pop-up store nowadays in academia believe that this cereal cafe by Kellogg's is a good example of a failure case. Okay, so now we have to go to the Seoul. This is Seoul in 2014. And by the way, I left Seoul last year in summer, so I've never been back to Seoul for past 6 to 7 months. It's a very short period of time, but for the pop-up stores perspective, 1 month is like 1 year. So many things basically literally pop up and then disappear, pop up and disappear. So I couldn't imagine what's going on, what has been going on for the past couple months. But I found this YouTube video, so I want to show you this little bit. So I go to the 6th study.
Has something uniquely charming. A charm that immediately embraced me on arrival. Yes, indeed, things changed. They suffered from the foreign exchange crisis and the influx of low-cost Chinese shoes.
So I just met up with Max, an old friend of mine, and he works nearby Seongsu, so he's going to show me around and give us some of his perspectives on the neighborhood.
Glad to do so, man.
Yeah.
Happy to be on your
This is
show.
my left hand. Welcome to the show.
This street is where the Seongsu handmade shoe street begins. It's full of shops of old and vintage, kind of like workshops and industrial complexes of shoemaking, which has been very important for the industry of Seongsu back from the 80s and 70s.
Yeah.
So it's still here, it's very renowned, and this street is full of like these monuments and these shops that are still living here despite the industrial changes that the country and the zone has.
You wear nice shoes today. Did you make them here?
No, I probably could find it here though. It's probably a nice idea.
Max shows me one of the famous cafes, Onion, that he thinks represents Seongsu well.
The exterior appearance of the video is just very run down, but that's kind of like the concept of what Seoul-Sudong represents. It's more of the combination between old industrial past and new money and new young people flocking into the area. This is the perfect representation of what this neighborhood represents.
Did you notice the red bricks? More than 60% of the buildings are red bricks, as the government has the policy to preserve the red brick buildings as part of the Seongsu image. You can't give me enough red bricks, seriously. Like Delhi, a former warehouse and one of the first factory-type cafes that drew the attention to Seongsudong. And here it is, an even crazier policy. As a Seongdong resident under the age of 39, you can receive up to 200,000 per year for hair loss treatment.
근데 왜 해요?
Confidence.
I'm super confident.
Seongsu is one of the largest downtown neighborhoods I've been to, and gentrification hasn't hit every corner yet. Going southwest, the old image of Seongsu is clearly visible, but hidden behind the old walls is a brewery of one of my favorite Korean liquors, makgeolli. It was the first time I saw it inside a makgeolli brewery and heard about the making process.
건물 여기가 원래는 학원이었어요. 학원이었는데 학원이 저희가 나오고 그리고 이제 저희가 여기 이렇게 인수해가지고 안에 이제 그냥
I'm sorry for the Korean words. Yeah.
왜 성주로 이사했어요?
Why did you move to Seongsu area?
되게 분위기가 되게 처음에 마음에 들어. 미국에 좀 처음에 다 살아왔고 브루클린이라고 공업지대 있잖아요.
It's so cool to look inside
You said this is the Brooklyn in Seoul.
makgeolli factory.
Indeed, we can't leave this place before trying one of my favorite Korean drinks. Otherwise, what's the fun?
호랑이나고 척실에
맞아요. 네.
I didn't even show you Seoul Forest yet, which used to be a royal hunting ground for kings, and later a horse racing track, as you can see on this excellent little map of Seoul. Seongsu has surprised me in many ways, and I couldn't help but think about bibimbap. A whole bunch of ingredients that taste deliciously if you mix them well. You can add ingredients and find a new taste, but taking out the foundation like gochujang would ruin it, in my opinion. The same goes for Seongsu. Taking out the old factory elements or the red bricks could change the charm for the worse. And even if you don't mix, it would still look sexy like the bibimbap. Gentrification is shown nicely. I agree, it is the Brooklyn of Korea. And don't forget to try candy by using the promotion code IGOBATI with the link below. Thank you and welcome to my home.
And for Seongsu, the observation that I would be able to give you right now is that it's giving it its own charm and its own personality. The mixture between this industrial past and the new influx of young people who are looking for cultural and artistic experiences gives it this edge and this new mixture that I personally find very appealing. Hello.
So I show you this video for a few minutes because I want to give you some contextualized information about how the city or how this Seongsudong looks like. So now I hope you to get used to this environment a bit more. And then let's go to the pop-up store. So Seongsudong is a specific area within a Seoul city. It's not a big, so you can just walk around. It takes about 10 minutes. But you can see numerous numbers of the pop-up stores. According to the newspaper, in at least 2024, running pop-up store is not optional for the marketers or the brand manager. It's mandatory because it's so powerful, it's so influential and so impactful. What used to be just the temporary stores have now become either or both a market entry indicator, particularly for the brands that has not been introduced in Seoul, South Korea, and or an opportunity to connect with the Gen Z. So companies now spend huge amount of time, invest huge amount of money to run their own pop-ups in a specific area called Seongsdong. And these are two images that you can imagine how big these buildings are. They basically use the huge building itself as a pop-up store, not just a small one to sell those products. And if you have a chance to visit Seoul, you can actually buy the tour program because this place is very hip and you can actually travel with the tour guides which pop-up store was launched at at which time. So you can actually listen to the history of each pop-up store as well. So I recommend you to visit Seoul and then visit this Seongsu-dong for fun. Okay. And I compare between New York and Seoul, and now I'm going to tell you a bit more about why Seongsu-dong, a specific area of Seoul, is become so popular for the pop-up store planners, from trend to strategy. In 2024, right now, Seoul is a good place for the people to run a pop-up store, but it was not before 2020. And in 2020, there's a company called Siemens, which is the Korean version of Temper, mattress company, set up its own pop-up store called the pop-up store without beds. So because everybody in South Korea knows that Siemens is a mattress company or a bed company, that therefore we cannot imagine what is inside of the store if the bed company runs the pop-up without the beds. That actually raised the questions. And then 2021, LG Electronics runs its own pop-up store called Gold Star Arcade, and 2020 Dior opened the pop-up store. So I will go through one by one to give you a short history about Seoul's pop-up store. So 2021, Siemens opened a pop-up store called Siemens Grocery Store. Looks like this. And as you can remember, 2020 is the time that the people cannot work around freely because of the COVID pandemic. So it was not a good time for people to visit a specific store. Then Siemens opened this pop-up store to help local business owners to sell their products. And thanks to this store, many Korean people now believe that Siemens is the company that helped the community to survive. So young people who actually pay attention to the local brands instead of massively produced products visit this store and buy the products and cheer their local business owners. That was the beginning of the whole pop-up store. And it was really successful. And according to some statistics, this store attracts more than 600,000 local visitors. And that was the very beginning of the whole history. And then next year, LG, the electronics company that manufactured and sell the TV screen or monitor, opened a pop-up store called Gold Star Arcade. Gold Star is the name of LG. It's basically the same name. It's old style name of LG. And arcade, it means that you can play the game in the pop-up store. I will show you how it looks like. So you see the red brick building here? This is very rare in the whole Seoul city because all the buildings are already high-rised with this white or brick, the gray colors. Red brick buildings are very rare and it's preserved only in this district. So if you enter this pop-up store, well, I've been there so I know how it looks like. So if you enter the store, you see many game machines are attached to the LG monitor or LG TV, so that whenever you play the game for free, you realize how important it is to have a high-resolution TV or monitor. So it actually gives a chance to learn the value of the LG monitor by playing the game for free. So this is a 2021. So Simon's grocery store is 2020, which actually surprised us. And 2021, LG opened this free game room, which surprised us again, 2021. And then 2022, Dior opened a pop-up with a massive building, which actually surprised us really hugely. It is still standing in Seongsu. You can go to and experience it. So I went through three key pop-up stores that actually created the history about the pop-up store in Seongsu, in Seoul, South Korea. And if you remember all those three pop-up stores, there are commonalities, all of three. One common things among and between those three pop-up stores is that they are not run by the professional pop-up planners. Basically, all these pop-up stores are run by the person who work for their own companies. For example, for the second pop-up, LG employees just create their own pop-ups. And the Dior also prepare their own pop-ups by themselves. So these pop-ups were run and planned, run, and maintained by the people who have almost zero experience about the pop-up industry. That's one. And the second second issue is that all these three pop-ups are super popular and create a lot of buzz, but no one knows what is the true impact, what is the commercial impact of running this pop-up. Therefore, brand managers and marketers who are working in different companies pay a lot of attention to those pop-up stores, but they still scratch their heads. Should we really follow this strategy and run our own pop-ups? Because we don't have any number outcome. So at this moment, there comes a company whose name is Project Rent. So Project Rent is a company which was run by the person, Mr. Choi. His name is Won-seok Choi. He used to work at the credit card company as a designer. Then during the pandemic, some building owners asked him to do something, whatever he wants for the empty space. So he did something that he wanted, and then he successfully attracted a lot of people. Therefore, he set up his own company called Project Rent. And then now, Project Rent is one of very few pop-up planning company. And thankfully, this person has a connection with me. And every time he collects the data, he shared with me the data, and we sit down together and then analyzed the data. Therefore, I'm involved with this whole project. So from now on, I'm going to show you how this company is strategically using the pop-up stores to change the perception about the brands. Before showing you some examples, I show you some introduction videos. So the business model of this company is not to go to the client site and create a pop-up store. No, Project Rent business model is it has its own space, which is located in the Seongsu area. And then brand managers or marketers approached this company, then they use their own space for 4 weeks, only 1 month, and then promote their own products and services in our own space. So the space is always located at the same place, and the people pass by and they enter or not. But brands are switching constantly. So every month, new brands pop up in the same place. Therefore, quite many people who actually stop by this store just enter the store and then be exposed to the new brands and then try it, so on and so forth. And then now this company has more than 5 to 6 spaces on the ground floor. So there is even tour program for the people who want to do the different experience at different pop-up stores owned and run by the same Project Rent company. The data that I want to tell you is that so he and I, we both ran about 250 pop-up stores between 2021 and 2023. About 2 years, almost every month, we accepted different brands and then pop up in many different ways. Some are food and beverage, some are cosmetics, some are fashion goods, some are many different things. So we collected a lot of data, thankfully. And while we collect the data, we realized that some brands are very successfully inviting lots of people and helping them to get engaged with their brands and then selling a lot of products. But others are not very successful. And the data actually educated us what is the best way to do so. And while we are running this pop-ups, the data that we collect are 2 sets. One are foot traffic data, and the other one is social media performance data. So I show you the foot traffic data. In order for us to collect the foot traffic data, we attached a device called Joey on the ceiling over here. And what Joey did is very interestingly hijack your Wi-Fi signal. It doesn't actually hijack the real signal, but it just hijack and counts how many people are standing outside of store, how many people enter the store, how many people stay inside the store for over 5 seconds. So we actually are able to collect 3 different data sets about the foot traffic data. And it actually is very interesting. Every time we run this pop-up store, we realize that how many people outside and how many people come in and how many people stay here. Now I want to ask one question. This is the quiz. There are 2 different pop-ups. The left one is about the beer pop-up. So at the pop-up, we not only introduce new beers, but also the new bacon together. In the right pop-up, we introduce a new fashion goods with a new cap and new sportswear, so on and so forth. Which pop-up store attracts more visitors? If you think the left one, beer and bacon, can you please raise your hand? Okay, thank you. If you think the right one, fashion goods. Okay, thank you. If we do the business like this way, we never end fighting because we have no data. Therefore, we collect the data and the data tells us the truth. This is the answer. So solid line is the beer and bacon. Dotted line is fashion goods. Both of these brands are completely new. No one knows what these brands are. Therefore, we can control the familiarity of brands. So we see that when the pop-up introduce food and beverage items rather than fashion goods, it's more actually attracted more people, basically. And then more people, not only more people attract, but also more people actually stay in the store as well. We didn't sell the product, so we didn't have a sales data yet. But according to the foot traffic, food and beverage seems to be the better item, better goods for the pop-up store at that time. Okay. And these are the foot traffic data and social media data, for instance, like this. Crème de Marron is a brand that which I'm not familiar with. It actually has a paste that contained in the toothpaste shaped tube. So you can squeeze and paste it on the bread so you can eat it. And that's really new product to Korean people like me. And the bottom one is a Babe wine, which is sparkling wine, which is also new to me. I haven't tried it yet. So both of products are so new, but when we ran these pop-ups, we realized that the top one gets a lot of Instagram followers right after opening this pop-up. But the bottom one, it actually took quite a few weeks to get a lot of followers in the Instagram. So we haven't still clearly analyzed the whole data yet, but we thought that there must be something is going on between the match between the product item and the pop-up store. So we still collect the data. Okay. And I'm going through all 4 examples and cases pretty fast, so you can see, think about it, and watch video, and that's pretty much everything. So before I go through all 4 cases, is there anybody else who has any questions about the pop-up store so far?
Okay, on the Dior one.
Yep.
Did you say the Dior one is still there? And how different is that from a Dior store?
According to the YouTuber, Dior store is still available. You can actually enter the store in 2024, September. I'm not sure if the store is still available in 2025. Yeah. Dior store and Seongsu, basically the biggest difference that you can see the Dior store and the department store and the Seongsu, the size. So Seongsu Dior is one of the biggest one. So you can't pass it without noticing it. So almost everyone who actually goes to the Seongsu area, they take a picture in front of the Dior because that's a landmark nowadays. And entering the store, I don't see there's any specific strategy kicks in. So simply all the Dior goods are just displayed, and there's not many people who actually explain to me why this product is displayed in this way, so on. So there's nothing special about the Dior. Is it good? Yeah. So I don't think it's a very good case. I don't think it's a good example of the pop-up store. So compared to the other pop-up stores that I'm going to introduce to you, the previous one, like LG or Dior pop-up store, seems to be just a pop-up store without having enough thoughts behind. So it's just a temporary store that simply displays the products and exposing the products to the hopefully new potential customers. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, now let's go to the 4 cases that the project rent actually did. We believe these 4 are good strategy. So the strategy means that when the marketers or brand managers run the pop-up, they actually have a thought about, okay, I want to do the pop-up. They usually do not have any specific objective. Okay, I have a brand and I have some money. Okay, I usually spend the money on Meta or Facebook to do some targeted marketing and sending the message to the people who might buy our product, so on and so forth. That's online marketing. But when it comes to the pop-up store, because it's a physical space, you have to have a very specific objective to achieve something. And these four are good examples about what are the specific objective or strategies that the brand manager should have. Okay. So first one is a behavior shift. That's a strategy. This is the product. Brand name is Amazing Oats, and the company name is Mayo. This is oats-based milk. You might have a lot of oat-based milk. Okay. What is the brand name that is popular here? Oatly. Yeah, Oatly is my favorite, actually. Yeah, Oatly is my favorite. And I usually don't try any other things because I love it so much. But this company tried to enter the market of oats-based milk. First of all, oat-based milk is not something that Korean people have ever tried before. Yeah, people really hate it. It's so new. I don't understand why we should drink something that is made by the oats. That's the very first perception. Therefore, it was very, very hard for the marketers to sell these products, even though they manufacture the products. And as I wrote down in the top, brand managers first thought that, okay, why don't we highlight its nutritional products? If you drink it, you become healthy, like this. And Project Rent, or Mr. Che, had a different thought. Okay, he didn't think it's a good idea, but instead, why don't we promote behavior change by introducing a vegan lifestyle? That's why he set up this Project Rent space, pop-up store space, looking like this. So the left image is a space design, and the right image is a product design. So he make the space looking like this and create a product like this. Maybe you can see it better. So he suggested many different types of vegan desserts instead of emphasizing this product is good. Vegan desserts and the drinks. And most of the furniture that he set up in the space is recycled. So in this pop-up store, he implanted an idea that choosing a vegan style is a good way to save our earth. So instead of saying that the product is good for your health, he actually asked us to change our thoughts and attitude and behavior by selecting vegan lifestyle, not our own products. So he had a very different kind of messages. And this is one of the most successful cases, most successful pop-ups that he ran, because when we actually collect the data, why he ran these pop-ups, we realized that this pop-up reached more than 2 million kind of people, and through the 47 Instagram accounts, and collected more than 30,000 likes and more than 1,000 comments, which is very, very atypical. And also, maybe you may not be able to see all the other pop-up lines, different colors. Compared to the other better-known pop-up stores or the other pop-up store that actually invested more money, this Amazing Oat pop-up store search volume is the highest. So its ROI, return on investment, is the highest. Therefore, we have to think more about what is the message behind the pop-up store instead of simply spending money to create a special space. That's a key idea. Okay. So this is the first example that I want to share with you. And then second example is about eco-driven consumer trust. Okay. Now we can go to the cosmetic product. This product, the product line is called Beyond. And Beyond is a cosmetic brand line created and manufactured by the LG Household and Health. So we often call it as LGHH. And this company, or this product line Beyond, is almost always claim that our product is very eco-friendly because we don't test our product using the animal. And many different messages are always sent to the customers and users and consumers, but we usually don't pay much attention to it. So, okay, yeah, why not? Yeah. Maybe your product is good for the environment, but it looks like this. Yeah, it actually conveys the messages, but we are not kind of interested in about it. Then this Project Rent, instead of promoting eco-friendliness one more time, the Project Rent decided to do a different ways. This is how the space looks like. So the left, the image shows the front image, and the right image shows the vending machine. Okay. So we decided to build the consumer trust through the eco-friendly experience. So we try to give them an experience in an eco-friendly way so that their perception about the eco-friendliness changes, as well as their perception about our brand Beyond changes a little bit. Okay, and here's how the pop-up looks like. So Beyond decided to avoid the competition of creating better products. They create a good products. Good means environmental friendly products. So instead of buying the new plastic products, please choose the refill. So when you actually bring the plastic packages of things, you insert those products in the vending machine, and the weight of this trash goes beyond over 500 grams. You can get the new cosmetic products from us. And most of the items were already made by the recycled item, like a paper. And what is interesting is in South Korea, you have to put different trashes in different cans, different colors, and there is an exam. So if you get the good scores, you can actually get the goods as well. And some experts or professionals give a talk about how could we save our earth. So I just stopped the video. You see this red brick building with one big window. This is the very first store of the Project Rent. And this company is still running on the same space, almost always the same space or the other space. There are only 4 to 5 spaces. Okay, that's one. And this Beyond by the LGHH was also very successful because when you actually enter the store, you realize that, oh, this store doesn't try to sell these products. But instead, if I do some experience, like exchanging the goods or answering the questions or listening to the talk, then I realized that, oh, it's very urgent for us to change our behavior, so on and so forth. So that's the message that is implemented in this pop-up store. And when when they leave, we actually ask them to answer a few questions about what's the perception about the eco-friendly, what's the perception about the Beyond specific brand. And then the responses were very inspiring. So 78% expressed greater willingness to buy eco-friendly products in general, and 88% showed increased willingness to recycle their own cosmetics, which is outside of Beyond the brand. But within the brand, 84% become more familiar with our brands, and 93% develop stronger preference for our brand. So our pop-up store not only changed their thoughts about eco-friendliness in general, but also changed the perception about our eco-friendly products. So in general, the pop-up store was also successful to us. And then the third case is about interactive learning for brand loyalty. And the third case is about chocolate. This chocolate, Ghana, is a chocolate made by the Lotte. Ghana is a chocolate that was created right after the Korean War, so it's about 1955 something. It's the longest historical product, but no one is interested in this history or things. And the price of this chocolate is just 50 cents or $1. It's very cheap chocolate. And nowadays, Koreans are exposed to many Japanese high-end chocolates and Belgian chocolates, See's candy and things like this. So there are a lot of competitors actually enter the chocolate market. At the same moment, Korean people do not like the chocolate or sweet product that much. We love spicy food very much. So the market is saturated, competitors a lot. This product sales drops down, therefore, what should we do? Then the brand managers, marketers keep saying that, oh, we should go to the luxury brand. But pop-up store owner had a different thoughts. He said that, why don't we enhancing brand heritage by offering interactive learning experience? Interactive learning experience is not about the electronic things, but it's more like having them a chance to get to the product. Okay. And then this pop-up store was opened in 2022, as far as I remember. And then this pop-up store is so successful, the same company keeps coming back, so it continuously running different versions of Ghana Chocolate House. This is one of the most successful pop-up store in Seoul. So we started 2022 April, 2023 in different city, 2024 again back, and this year again. So the first thing is that taste with 4 seasons. So every different seasons, chocolate professional create different types of chocolate foods, so that people are exposed to the different types of sweet foods. They often collaborated with the famous chefs. Famous barista also work together. And also in the second floor, there is a zone to promote the heritage or history about the Ghana chocolate. So if you go upstairs, you experience what's the history about the advertisements, products, and packaging, so on and so forth. Then now, they opened the same pop-up store in Tokyo. To promote this product is also competitive to the other Japanese chocolate brands. To be very honest, this pop-up store was really successful in South Korea, in Seoul area, but it's not successful in Japan, Tokyo yet. Probably because the quality of the chocolate was not comparable yet. But pop-up itself creates a lot of buzz. So one of the reasons why this pop-up was so successful is that at this moment, after going through all these trial and errors and collecting lots of data, we realized that the most important component for us to be successful is to actually having a connection with the powerful influencer, particularly in the Instagram. So we invite only 18 Instagram influencers who are very, very powerful. All of them are female. Actually, I don't understand why she's so popular, why she has a lot of followers. But somehow, every time she took pictures and uploaded on the picture and then sharing, she gets every single female influencers get a lot of attentions. Very successful. So we reached 0.6 million instantly. We also collect more than 20,000 likes very instantly. And what really surprised to us is that according to this number, these are the number of the foot traffic data. So 45,000 people pass by and 20K people enter the store. So conversion rates of the people who are passing by to enter the store is about 44%, 45%. Almost half of the people who pass by just enter. And then out of those 20,000 people who visit, 6,000 people purchase something, which means 31% actually made a purchase. And the final sales is 85 million won. So all these numbers are really surprising to us because compared to the other numbers, compared to the other pop-up stores, these scores are so powerful. Therefore, this Lotte company continuously making different types of contracts with the same company to run different types of pop-up store in different cities. Yeah. So I think this is the power of the number. So we sometimes collect the number sitting down there all day long, how many people enter, we just click, spending 8 hours. But eventually we end up having some data that tells us, well, this is the commercial impact of running the pop-up store. So we're surprised. And then the last one. And this last project is run a few months later, a few months after all these 3 projects were done. So the final project was very ambitious and it was really risky because Apple emailed to Mr. Che and then asked him if he's interested in working with the Apple. So he said yes, but how? And then the Apple team asked him to have a secret meetings about this specific program called Pachinko. And at that moment, well, even now, the most popular platforms that we watch movie and video and programs are almost always Netflix, right? So even in Seoul, I think the market share about this area is 88%. Apple TV Plus is 5%. It's very low. Very few people subscribe to services, and then, but when the Pachinko was released, more and more, they need more people to actually subscribe to their services. And at the very first time, when he and the Apple team made a meeting, Apple team wanted to pay attention to the book and the author of the book. But again, the owner thought differently. So he thought that it's important for the Korean viewers to deepen the emotional connection by weaving the brand narratives into the cultural identity. So he had this kind of thought, which is a bit difficult to explain to you more detail. So he set up the Pachinko pop-up store, which is very different from the other pop-up stores. Before playing this video, do you know what is Pachinko is? Pachinko is Pachinko is a game. So when you actually go to Tokyo or Japan, any city in Japan, you hear lots of like sound and the ball, basically pinball. You just shoot the pinball and the balls comes down and the ball comes a specific basket. You can get some points or sometimes lose. In most cases, you actually lose the money. It's basically Las Vegas game machine, but it's a physical machine. So in the pachinko drama, this pachinko is the electronic device that was created by second generation Korean person who was discriminated. So it actually has a very deep cultural messages. Therefore, before watching this, the contents, pachinko, Mr. Che thought that we should play the pachinko machine first to understand what it is. Because in our generation, for our generation, people usually don't play this machine because it's so old and it doesn't work that well. So he set up the store like this. This is the pachinko, the real pachinko machine that he created. Pachinko is more than just a game. You can play the pachinko by yourself. You can get some rewards. So it is packaged as a fun and playful experience, but actually when you play the game, at some point you realize that, oh, this has something to do with the contents of the in the Apple TV Plus. And then when you watch it, you realize that, oh, this is why Jaenichi, the second generation of Korean who are living in Japan, has to develop this device, machines, to survive, to make ends meet. Things. So today, I actually went through a few examples, but before I explained to you about the pop-up store in general. So this is the one slide to wrap up everything. So pop-up stores are really popular, thrive in Seoul. The three objectives are buzz, engagement, and the sales. Very often, buzz is the primary objective, but sales could be another objective. And a specific area called Seongsu-dong has a lot of pop-up stores. More than 50 pop-up stores are running weekly. So even if you go back to the same space, you see 50 new pop-up stores. So that's why many people come back and buy every week. And also the last bullet point says that there are 3 key pop-up stores I hope you to remember. They are Siemens pop-up and Gold Star LG pop-up and then Dior pop-up. Those 3 are very important historical cornerstone of pop-up Mecca. And also I show you 4 different examples about the successful pop-up stores. The strategies go this. You can change the behavior by proposing a vegan lifestyle, or you can enhance the trust of the customers by giving them a chance to experience, and you also increase the brand loyalty by giving them a chance to learn chocolate experience, and finally you bond the emotional connection with the brands through the cultural things. So far he and I collected a lot of data, and we concluded that these 4 are the key ways to create a successful pop-up stores. We actually have tried many more different types of pop-up stores, and many of them were failure. So we couldn't actually share with you all these failure examples, but I hope you to remember all these 4 specific strategies you can actually implement when you are asked to run your own pop-up stores. Okay. So this is the end, and just in case if you're interested in learning more about the pop-up store, please visit our website or me and then contact me. And if you are really interested in having a chance to work with this company, just send me a message and I can connect you to him. in Seoul, South Korea. Thank you so much.